One of the most divisive figures in the world of tennis, Nick Kyrgios, takes on Daniil Medvedev in the US Open this weekend. However, it is his choice of outfit earlier in the week at Flushing Meadows, which has had fans talking, with one particular Aussie MMA star particularly impressed. Today we're discussing Alexander Volkanovski's reaction to Kyrgios repping his t-shirt at the US Open this week, so stay right where you are. Let's get straight into it then. What did Volk have to say? Alexander the Great Volkanovski is widely considered to be the greatest mixed martial arts fighter on the planet right now. And tennis star Nick Kyrgios agrees. Taking part in the US Open earlier this week, Kyrgios turned up to practice rocking the shirt of his countryman, and the current featherweight king has since responded. The Great took to Twitter to respond to the gesture from Nick, calling him a legend alongside a praying emoji. It seems as though the pair share a lot of love for each other, and Volk will surely be a cheering his countryman on this weekend as he takes to the court again in the Big Apple to tackle the current world number one. Kyrgios will be hoping to build on his excellent Wimbledon performance earlier this summer, where he reached the final only to be beaten by Novak Djokovic. However, at the US Open, Djokovic is ineligible due to his stance on the COVID-19 vaccine and has been denied entry to the country. Going into the tournament, Nick seems to be laying out excuses already in case he fails again, saying, quote, "I'm exhausted, that's for sure. After Wimbledon and Washington and everything, I haven't really been able to go home and enjoy it with my family and just take a breath. So I'm extremely exhausted." He then went on to whine about how far he has to travel as an Australian. "We get it, Nick. No one else has to travel apart from you." More Kyrgios news now, and he's been in trouble yet again. Stay with us. Earlier this week, Nick Kyrgios earned himself yet another fine after some unsportsmanlike behavior during his second-round match. He was taking on France's Benjamin Bonzi, winning 3-1, but someone in the crowd caught the ire of the Aussie bad boy. As we all well know, Kyrgios tends to blame anybody but himself when things aren't going his way, and at one, he yelled an obscenity into the crowd, claiming he could smell marijuana smoke. He also shouted at a member of his team in the players' box, encouraging them to be more supportive of his sulking ways or leave. The incident came in the second set as Kyrgios was running side to side. After apparently smelling weed in the crowd, he told the umpire, quote, "When I'm running side to side, I'm struggling to breathe. Probably not something I want to be breathing in between points." He had previously urged the referee to remind people in the crowd not to do it. However, it is so far unconfirmed as to whether anyone actually was smoking weed or not. But that doesn't excuse using expletives on the live broadcast. Kyrgios' outburst led to a fine of $7,500 after he had argued with the referee, who had suggested the smell could be from the kitchen. Nick quickly replied, quote, "Obviously, I'm not going to complain about food smells. Obviously not." We all pine for the day when Nick Kyrgios finally grows up. What do you guys make of this? Next up, Nick has given a huge shout out to Serena. Tennis legend Serena Williams called it a career Friday as she was beaten in her third-round US Open tie against Ajla Tomljanovic. She will go down as the greatest female tennis player of all time and probably the greatest overall with an unbelievable 23 majors. She met her final match against the world number 46, losing 7-5, 6-7, 6-1, but will leave the sport as an absolute icon. And Nick Kyrgios, not usually the soppy type, went on to laud Serena for her magnificent career, saying, quote, "She has had a career that I don't think anybody else will emulate." He then referred to the younger Williams sister as, quote, "once-in-a-generation talent," suggesting nobody will ever beat her record, which is probably a safe bet. Kyrgios then went on to compare Serena with male greats such as Nadal and Federer, saying, quote, "You've got a couple of the men's side who are trying to catch her in the Grand Slams, but Nadal, Serena, Federer, Novak, these are once-in-a-generation athletes, and I wouldn't even put myself in the same category, ever." Nick then applauded her for the ways she went out, finishing by saying, quote, "I just appreciate what she has done." What do you guys make of Kyrgios' nice words? What did Serena herself have to say then? Stick around to find out. Serena brought the curtain down on a career which, quite incredibly, spanned across 27 years. She made her pro debut as a 14-year-old at the Bell Challenge in Quebec City, losing in straight sets to Annie Miller, but it's safe to say she picked it up somewhat after the initial disappointment. Widely regarded as the greatest tennis player of all time, Williams was obviously emotional yesterday as she called time on her epic career. She said, quote, "Oh my God, thank you so much. You guys were amazing today. I tried, but Ajla just played a little better." Serena then went on to thank her dad, Richard, who was instrumental in her formative years of her career, before saying, "Thanks, Mom. I just want to thank everyone that's here, that's been by my side. So many years, decades, but it all started with my parents and they deserve everything, so I'm really grateful for them." She then went on to shout out big sis Venus, who of course was with her through thick and thin. She referred to her as an inspiration before explaining that her visible tears were actually happy tears. She further shouted out her older sister by saying, "And I wouldn't be Serena if it wasn't for Venus, so thank you, Venus." She's the only reason that Serena Williams ever existed, finishing by calling her career the most incredible ride and journey I've ever had in my life. She will be sorely missed. Give us your thoughts on Serena. Nick has sent a touching message to his sick mother next. Stay with us. Aussie star Kyrgios revealed he will soon be heading back down under after the conclusion of the US Open. And just before his third-round match with JJ Wolf at the tournament earlier this week, he took to Instagram to post a heartwarming message to mother Noor Laila on her birthday. Kyrgios has come into the tournament with high expectations, but sadly, due to health concerns, her mother is no longer available to travel to cheer him on. Posting on social media, Nick said, quote, "I can't tell you how hard it is for me to continue to travel and compete knowing I miss out on days like this. I know I haven't always been the easiest to deal with, and I know I've stressed you out." Of course, it's nice to see Nick acknowledge his mother in this way, and we can only imagine how tough it might have been to bring him up. But he carried on with the touching tribute by saying, quote, "I really miss you. I know you're dealing with so many things, but I just want you to know that I don't know anyone stronger than you. I hope I'm making you proud, you and Dad." And Nick's brother Christos commented on the post, reassuring the star that his mother is proud of you. What do you guys think of Kyrgios' lovely words? And finally, a look ahead to his upcoming match with Daniil Medvedev. Kyrgios got past JJ Wolf in straight sets earlier this week to set up a mouth-watering clash with world number 1 Daniil Medvedev. The Russian is currently the best player on the planet and set up the meeting with the fiery Aussie after disposing of China's Wu Yibing late Friday night, September 2nd. Medvedev didn't begin his match until almost 11 p.m., but overcame his opponent in straight sets at the Arthur Ashe Arena. The win sends him through to the second week of the US Open for the fourth consecutive year, a tournament which he won last year, of course. And he wasn't messing around with his match against Wu, closing it out in just under 2 hours. Going up against Kyrgios this weekend, he will put his number 1 ranking on the line after Kyrgios got the better of him in Montreal last month. He said, quote, "We've played great matches. I think all have been quite tight on the scoreboard." He then went on to explain how Kyrgios is currently 3-1 in matches between the pair before saying, quote, "I will try to do better this time, and it will be a great match for people to watch." Who do you guys will think come out on top? As usual, thank you for joining us today, and remember to tune in again next time when we will be discussing all sorts of other cool bits and pieces. And why not do us a solid by liking and sharing today's video while also subscribing to our channel? Bye, guys.